Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Rashad Alameen, a.k.a. DJ Big Rob.
What up, Will?
What's up, King?
Long time coming, man.
It's an honor to have you sitting here because I know you do not do a lot of podcasts, you don't do a lot of interviews, and you have a wealth of knowledge to share with the people. You really are a hip-hop historian. I know you don't like calling yourself that.
No, I'm good with that.
You cool with that?
I'm good because,
okay, but yes, that's what you are, man.
I didn't study it, I lived it. I walked the walk.
Lived it. Right. And man, you've been doing it for a while, man. Like every time somebody who has put a brick in the house of hip-hop shows up in town, you're at the concert.
Yeah.
Why is that so important to you?
Not just at the concert. I bring a lot of them low key.
Right.
Hip hop.
And you're backstage all the time.
Yeah, them
always got access. All access.
Oh yeah, no doubt. To me, hip hop is a culture. And I'm gonna just say this. I culturally grew up with a black power fist, and then hip hop came. You know, the house was funk, R&B, soul. Then the hip hop came, and that was my generation, my genre. I took to it like a fish in water. First concert I ever went to, hip hop wise,
right.
Sugar Hill, Funky 4 plus one more, Grandmaster Flash. It was like a Sugar Hill show, and it was a school night. And after that concert, we was on the corner, on the curb, like talking to them. And I grew up in a house with music, you know, and like my stepdad, his records was his. My mother's records were hers. We wasn't allowed to touch them.
Now, where were you? You were in New York at this time?
No, never New York.
You grew up you were born in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was a small little football city called Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
right.
You know.
My favorite team, my favorite football team.
I didn't know that, Will.
My favorite football team.
We at the game this year.
Time.
We played the team.
Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
And growing up in Pittsburgh, man, great musical wealth, great knowledge of music. And like I said, stepdad had his joints, couldn't touch his. Couldn't touch my mom's. I had a paper route. That was my first job. Every time I got some money, I was buying my own records because we had a system. We had to reel the reels, and then so you know, I like to say I was a DJ since I was 5 years old because you know how the adult party would turn into the kids' party. Mm-hmm. Well, I could read at 3.5, 4. I could read, literally read, and I used like when the kids was going away. And the adults had them yellow envelopes that made the house look real like it was going to rain in that joint. I'd be like, let me play the records. And they had the record player with the TV in front. You lift up the top, put the records in. It fascinated me that only one record would drop at a time. So I was a little mischievous kid. I used to try to put pressure, drop the joint. And it never worked. That technology amazed me. So I grew up in the records, 8 tracks. I saw 8 tracks become cassettes. I saw cassettes become CDs. But I always was into music. And after that first concert, seeing Sugar Hill and all them, I was like, I'm going to do that, whatever that is. And that was hip hop. You know, a neighborhood crew from my neighborhood, too. Let me shout them out. What was Haas and his crew called? I forgot the name of the crew, but they won a contest where they got HQ. That was the name of their crew, Homewood Quality. That was my neighborhood. They won the contest, and they got to open up. So the hood went, and it was like, you know, we was amazed. And
you grew up in a neighborhood called Homewood Quality?
Homewood, Brushton. But the name of the rap group was called HQ, Homewood Quality. Okay. That's what they called themselves.
Right. And how are you what's being impressed upon you by your parents? You grew up with both of your parents in the household?
A mom and a stepdad, but I'm a product of the 70s and all that. Like, so my stepdad and real dad, like I have a picture of them. I have my living room table got this glass. So everybody got it, yeah.
Everybody's silver.
Yeah. I mean, they kicked it, hung out. You know, it was the 70s, right. Man, you know. As long as you took care of your kids and you know, I'm from the ass-whooping era. We respected our elders, and we'll get into that later. Unlike a lot
Did you get a lot of ass-whoopings?
I didn't get a lot, because I have an older brother and sister. They 6 and 7 years older than me. And I seen the shit that was happening to them, so I was like, fuck that. You know, a smart person learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And I watched them, and I was like, my brother and sister tell you now, oh, you was the favorite. Nah, I was looking at you, motherfucker. Do some dumb shit. Nah, I wasn't doing it. I remember my sister got caught smoking a cigarette. I remember my brother got caught, listen, stealing money. I wasn't going to steal, wasn't going to smoke, wasn't going to do a lot of that stuff. So.
And you still haven't smoked or drank
Never drank in life.
anything in life.
Never smoked, never drank.
How do you know you don't like it if you never tried?
I'm manufactured by the Most High.
Okay.
And I know smoke don't belong in lungs. I was always taught that it was oxygen.
Boom.
So, I ain't on no hookahs. And that's just me. Do what you do.
Yeah.
I've always been of the proponent. I don't need alcohol or smoke to solve a problem. And a lot of people, they self-medicate in different ways. I have a phrase, I don't run from it, I confront it. Any problem I have, it just makes me stronger and I solve it.
Well, I'm going to speak for the drinkers. Yeah, I don't smoke either. I've smoked twice in my life. I had a cigarette when I was in seventh grade.
Right.
Did a little coughing, dropped it.
Right.
And then in like late 90s, I'm making an album. And I'm like, man, I'm reading about Bob Marley, how he wrote his biggest song when he was high, and how Tupac wrote these songs when he was high. And I'm like, I already got hit records. I had never been high. I ain't ready. I didn't have anything in me. So imagine, boy, if I smoke a little weed.
Right.
So, man, I decided that, okay, I'm going to smoke a little weed today. So I called my boy and tell him to bring me something. I'm talking big shit. I'm like, yeah, man, bring me some chronic. Don't bring no dookie over here, man. Bring me some chronic. I need something real. Give me something that, I'm capping. So they laughing like, man, you serious? Like, yeah. So he's like, man, so he got my other boy in the back. My other boy in the background, he's like, man, Will say he gonna smoke today, he gonna smoke some weed. So it's a whole discussion going on. So they show up, it's like 20 deep. They show up to watch me smoke weed. So I hit the weed, and I'm waiting on it to make me creative. I'm waiting on like this shit to just happen,
epiphany,
right?
like a mom.
Yeah, I'm waiting, man, and nothing happened. It went in reverse. It actually dumbed me down, like it made me numb. I couldn't come up with anything.
That's crazy.
So that was my last time hitting the weed.
Yeah, I know why I never drank. Because my mother was the only child.
Yeah.
My grandfather came home from World War II, decorated soldier, and got hit by a car. My mom was 8, so she grew up an only child. But my grandmother...
You got hit by a car and died?
In America, yeah, when he got back from the war. So my mother grew up with her, and my grandmother was a functioning alcoholic. So I seen alcohol all my life, and subconsciously, that's probably why I never drank.
Okay.
I seen it, and it took her out of here. My grandmother, later in life, Alzheimer's, but it was all due to alcohol. And, you got them family members that, I ain't gonna go there. Don't make it better, though. The aunts, the uncles who was, taking, catch her. You know what I mean? My mom was a goat, though. She was a fighter, and she stopped a lot of that nonsense. But I was, I ain't drinking that shit, because this is what happens. And I seen the arguments, the turmoil, But
yeah,
that's why I probably never drank, and, I never will.
So your mom is no longer with us?
2017. I'd like to say that's the last bad day I've had, because I've trained my mind. I don't do bad days. Every day is a great day for me, but I happen to be with her when she transitioned. And the beauty of it, I was there. I had some friends talk to me and say, hey, man, but the thing about it, that day, everything my mother, it was wild, because I seen her the day before. She was getting in her car, moving around. That day that happened, for some reason, I'll get the call early. Mama, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Da-da-da. And this is just random. But for some reason, that day, everything my mother asked me to do, I did it. I ain't even, and it was just like, cool. Some people, I didn't get a chance to tell her. And my mother knew I loved her. She knew all her kids loved her. So I ain't had them issues. So it was a blessing that I was there with her, and she was comfortable, because she just laid down and never woke up.
Was it at the hospital?
We was at the house. We was watching the Boston Celtics play the Cleveland Cavaliers. And about, my mother, big LeBron fan, we from Pittsburgh, but Cleveland was the closest. Or you was a Sixer fan. Mm-hmm. Or you was a Laker fan, because there was a guy named Norm Nixon that went to college at Duquesne in Pittsburgh. When he went to the Lakers, half the city was Laker fans. Plus they got yellow in their uniform like the Steelers. So, yeah, when she, I'm looking at the TV like, stuff's happening. And, I look up, And I'm like, wait, she ain't saying that. And I look over her, and I look over again. And she had told me a few things that day. She was feeling uncomfortable. You need to go to the hospital? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. She just laid down, man. Her transition was peaceful. She just laid down and never got up. And crazy enough, 5 minutes into that game is when it happened. Crazy enough, the following February, going into March, my dad passed.
Is your biological or
my biological passed? Stepdad's still alive. My biological passed. It was Boston was playing Cleveland, so I don't watch Celtics Cavaliers games ever. And it was around the same time. And
Wow.
It's insane. And he was in a cancer situation, but he got up out of the hospice. He wanted to go home because he walked out of there. And he wanted to go home. And I guess he died a couple days later. And same two teams was on. My older brother called me like, "Yo, Dad," I'm like, and then I was telling him about the Celtics. He's like, "Man, what are you talking about? Basketball?" I was like, "Nah, listen." And so I don't watch Celtics Cavs games ever because I lost the two people that brought me into the world during those. And it's all good. Like I said, I don't have bad days. Anybody that knows me, how you doing? Pfft, 2 thumbs up. I'm on this side of the grass, and there ain't nothing that God will do to you that you can't solve yourself.
You know what? You are like that, though, man. I've never seen you like I never seen you in a angry type mood or whatever.
Man, you can't do
Never
nothing
seen
to
you
harm
looking
me.
depressed or whatever. You always smiling.
I got to. You can't do nothing to harm me because I do good for my people.
Do you smile like that because you got white teeth? Or if your teeth was raggedy, would you still be smiling like that?
I'd be happy, man. Or I go see my boy Dr. Mo and get a whole new grill. That's what I would. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah. So you are an adjunct professor at TSU.
Yes.
Is that a good side hustle?
It's a
Is that your
wonderful
side? That's a good side hustle.
Okay, so I speak at different colleges and all that. Yeah.
So are you an adjunct professor at several colleges?
No, well,
or just
I
TSU?
spoke at a few due to some friends, but TSU got me. I actually went to school for 3 years, so I don't have a degree.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I've never worn a cap and gown in my life on no level of school. I never actually walked across the stage and graduated. That's some wild stuff when you reflect.
Yeah.
But TSU, my older brother, he's the first college grad in our family. He went there, and that's how I even ended up in Houston. And, I went to school in Tennessee and then came back. My last year of school was at TSU. So there's some TSU love. Plus, this illustrious hip-hop career started off at KTSU. That's the first time I was on any airwaves. Lester Pace, Walter D, Kids Jam, Marcus Love, Luscious Ice, Tammy McCall. I'll shout out everybody. Parrish Murphy, can't forget Murph. So when you, where we at with it is how do I say it? I'm always just good, man. TSU, I would speak there, and there's a guy named Jordan Williams. He owned Straight Profit with Youngstar on it. He got a law degree. He went to Georgetown, he ushered Iverson through Georgetown anyway. And Matthew Knowles, they started that ERM program over there. And ERM is Entertainment Recording and Management. There's the book, which is theory, and then there's real life, how this game go, how you got to walk into a radio station. Contracts, all revenue streams of the music business. We teach that. From a real world perspective.
So from a real world perspective, I'm a brand new artist. I'm trying to break in the game. I come to you and say, what do I do? I don't know where to start.
I would say this. This is the music business. It's 90% business, 10% music. I would tell any kid, hey, LLC your business. You know what I'm saying? It don't even cost that much. Go get an entertainment lawyer, not your homie that know a lawyer. Get a solid entertainment lawyer and give them a retainer, $300, $400, $500, whatever you could afford. Once you have your business incorporated, you give them a retainer and let them know, hey, one day you're going to receive a call. I just need to know, the people that you call need to know that you're representing me in this business because business people don't like to do business with non-business people. Get their business affairs in line. Go start publishing. ASCAP, BMI. It don't cost that much to register. Then have a solid project. To me, music, I don't care what auto-tune. You got to be able to sing or you got to be able to rap, first and foremost. To me, there's a whole lot of people getting away with murder, but that's because they've injected money into the culture, and it's no longer the culture no more. A lot of these people, it's just a lick. Let me go get a bag. Fuck the culture. I ain't teaching nobody shit. It ain't about us no more. It's about me getting a bag. And that's why I would say this, and I'm talking from a hip-hop perspective. To me, rap music is the only business that I can name where the product is doing this, but the money is out of this world. You know what I'm saying? The product, the quality of the product, and I'm talking about bar for bar lyrics, you got a few that's out there. But for the most part, it's cats getting millions that can't rap a GIF if they was one of Santa's elves, bro. But they getting that money. And I ain't mad at them. Get your money. We'd have been mad at Malcolm X at 25, but by the time he turned 40, he was Malcolm. And he had done so much. So I give these youngsters a lot of chances to mess up, too. I ain't mad at them. Ain't no hate.
But what do we do to resolve the issue instead of just complaining about it? Because I do hear a lot of older people who criticize the music of today, and they have a lot to say about it, but they're not providing any solutions.
And that's why I do what I do. I love the young people. I push them forward. I ain't mad at them for getting the bag. But what I do, because anything your mind hears, it always remembers. You know, it'll come up if you're in a situation. Somebody tell you you're in Florida, Willie D., in case an alligator ever come across you, because they will wear a zigzag. I don't mean shit to you right now. Be in Florida and let an alligator. Somebody told me to zigzag. You know what I'm saying? So I believe my job as a OG, you know, to me, an OG, you push the youth forward and you want them to succeed. That's why I ain't mad at the money. I want them to win, but I want them to win with a purpose. I want you to win understanding that if you talking about the dope game and material and all that, talk about the other side of the game too. Give a balance. I ain't saying, because we did some wild stuff in our days and we talked, but there was always that other side. I want them to win, and I hope that they get older. And because I think that when I'm talking to them and I'm telling them, hey man, this is a communal thing. People in our day, y'all criticize but we crawled so that you can walk. We built a foundation so that you can have something firm to stand on. Do not build this building up so high just to go burn it down. Don't do that. We have to take ownership of our culture again, period.
Boom. You just said a mouthful, because when you're out there on the stage and you're making your records, you're putting your records out, you're doing your autograph signings, you're traveling the world, you're just having fun and enjoying the best experiences, and you're picking up your awards along the way, you can kind of get focused on just being talent, and you don't really have the foresight to say, you know what, I'm doing something special. Let me make sure I have some ownership in this thing after things start slowing down for me. Because the time to seize control is when you are at the top of your game, not when you're falling off, because you have the most power when you're at the top of your game. Right now, any artist that is in the top of the charts right now, if they're on the top of the charts, they can pick up the phone and call anybody. Everybody want to take their call because they're winning. Mm-hmm. Once they're not winning as much, I'm talking about that visible winning where everybody knows you're winning and you got your name is in everybody's mouth. Once you're no longer, you don't have that, now you have to fight the stigma of being a loser, even though you may still be a winner. Right. People look at you like, oh, he ain't winning no more, so let me move on to somebody else. So the time to seize control is when you are at the top of your game, and that's something that I didn't catch. And I almost missed it myself, because I was like, I didn't want to be the old bitter dude. Exactly. I didn't want to be that dude. So I was like, instead of just complaining about everything, I dropped the ball. Let me come back and cut out a piece of this pie for myself. And that's what I did when I got back into media, when I started getting into media from a different route. Like a lot of times as an artist, you just want to make music and you want to be on the radio. Well, everybody got an expiration date, and you got to meet that reality at some point. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, they're not going to let me in through that way. Let me go around here and reinvent myself and bring and usher in a whole new audience of people Because the people that love me, that mess with me for real, they're gonna be there no matter what.
Yeah.
They're gonna be there. Let me go get these new people.
Garner
And
some new fans.
Let me bring the new ones in, and then put this information out there, and that's how I build the following that I have. Yeah, and I have a say so. And what go on in hip hop now. I got to say so and what goes on in black media now.
You know you Willie D, right? I'm gonna say this, man. One thing, I'm gonna give you a bushel of roses right now. The first time I ever met Willie D, we was at a club on the North Side. It might have been called the North Side. It didn't change so many times. And you was walking out. No. Yeah, that's the first time we actually had a conversation. Mm-hmm. Now, we met when you was reaching in your pocket at the Rhinestone, telling somebody their mama's hair was so short that she roll it with rice. Ah. See, people don't know the rhyme battles that used to go on down here. And I'm going to tell you this. There's a guy that's super famous. His name is Romany Maleko. He was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, the black dude. He was in all them, what's the Steve Harvey movies? The quirky little black dude. He was dating Megan Good. What is it? Think Like a Man. He's in them movies. Anyway, Rom from New York. That boy went to high school in Baytown, and he was in a group called the College Boys.
Yeah,
that's
I remember College Boys.
Okay, well,
I didn't know that.
That's the same dude that's in 40.
Wow.
That's Rom, and he used to run with a cat named Squeaky. He used to beatbox.
Wow.
Y'all used to rap battle.
I know.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He out in California. There was a big...
Sorry about that, Ron.
Yeah, there was a
ahead.
big battle scene in Houston every Sunday at the Rhinestone. And, you know, it was the Willie D's, the Romeo Poets, the Royal Flushes, and I give them all Rick Royal, rest in peace. Like, these are some of the greatest rappers, but the media wasn't in Houston at this point. Yeah. But I got partners in California that, you know, as a matter of fact, they say your lyrics, and you don't even remember them. You know, you just said some wild stuff. But we got Willie D at the top of the charts as being, when you analyze every lyric ever said, you probably the truest. And if you said these guys is 80% of what they talking about, 90, yeah, you up there in them 90s because I saw Will in action. But the one thing, like I said, them Rhinestone battles is epic. But you was going to the North Side. I was out Southwest at the time. When we was talking, you was coming out of the North Side. You had the medallion on, the African medallion. And Ghetto Boys y'all was getting it cracking. You know, I think it was Lil Jay's birthday one year, and he diamond necklaces and all that. And they was like, Will, where your gold chain at? I said, damn, Will, you don't rock no G? Man, fuck that. Nigga, when all my people in Africa could afford gold, I'll rock some gold. And that's when I was like, okay, this dude's coming from a political place. And that's how I grew up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Will, you the same guy that you was in the late 80s that I met. And I remember one time, it was a Dope Jam tour, Ghetto Boys, Public Enemy. You remember that tour? Mm-hmm. And it was in the Summit, which is now Lakewood Church, the biggest church in America, right? It was in there. And like you said, backstage, this is a homecoming right here.
That's Ghetto Boys, Public Enemy, Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
Leaders of the New School with Busta Rhymes.
Yes.
Young
Kid
Buster.
Play. Shout out
Kid
to
and Play.
Who else was
Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince
was on that tour. Shout out to all of them.
Naughty by Nature.
Listen.
Wow.
And during that concert, there's a guy named Ed Warner. He used to work for Pace. For those that don't know, Pace was the biggest concert promotion agency on the planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And then they joined with Clear Channel and became a small little company. I don't know if y'all heard of it. It's called Live Nation. Mm-hmm. Ed was over the black music, and I used to always be backstage at the show, and I was backstage, and they was clearing it, because Chuck D was like, nah, F that, this Ghetto Boys, y'all at home, y'all close the show. They was moving everybody out from the stage, and I was on the side of the stage. Hey, you, get it. Willie D said, nah, he good. And I got to stand on the stage and watch that whole show, man. That's just an epic moment in my life, messing with Willie D. So I'm going to go ahead and give you your flowers on that. Will been real from forever. Like, this go back to high school. You Forest Brook cat. Yeah, so.
You know what's crazy? I saw Public Enemy at the Summit playing before we popped off. Uh-huh. I saw them one year. I saw them in 1990. Mm-hmm. And in 1991, we were sharing the stage.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It just goes to show you, boy, you got to put yourself out there, though, and you got to be consistent. You have been consistently on the grind, and you represent everything that hip hop stands for. That's good.
I appreciate that,
and
Will.
Pure. When I saw you at backstage at the Rakim concert at the House of Blues,
Mm-hmm.
and I look up, I'm moving around, and there you go. You in the dressing room, you chilling. You always like on the scene, man. Like,
Story.
How do you get to know all these people, man?
Rakim, I was the first person to bring Rakim to Houston. Period. There was a little spot called the Masiba Theater on the corner of Main and Cleburne, I believe that is.
Now, this was before Paid in Full or after?
It was before the album dropped, but after the singles is out.
Okay.
So my brother was involved with that theater. And I'm going to tell you, we had a crew.
Ensemble Theater?
No. The Masiba Theater.
Masiba.
You know where that Sears was?
Yeah.
It's a Metro. There used to be a theater on that corner, and the McDonald's right there next to that Shipley's Donuts.
Yeah.
It's a flat thing. It's grass now.
Right.
So my brother was in on that theater thing, and my boy, we had a crew. We was called the Chosen Few back in the day. This is the 80s. Me, my boy Saulo Pena, and my boy Ali Salam. And we still tight to this day. We was rapping. We was trying to get on, And Pete, Saulo's brother, he was into things. He's into different things. He was getting money. And over near the Dome, there's where Merworth is and all that.
What kind of things were you? No, I'm just kidding.
he was into things that people claim they was into, but we was in high school. And Pete's a great story. We was like, yo, you got to get these guys, Eric B and Rakim. They dope. Blah, blah, blah. And we also settled with the 2 Live crew, who ended up getting sued for $300,000 and 5 performances. We could talk about how H-Count.
Y'all sued 2 Live crew?
So my older brother and Pete, we were in high school still. This is our last year. My older brother and Pete was like, let's get them then. Cool, I got the theater. Pete was like, I got the money. There was a guy named Hector Macho Camacho, another Puerto Rican cat. Mm-hmm. Him and Pete was locked in together. You know how Camacho died. And I'm going to just say this. They was getting money. We was like that. Like, for real? So we was naming groups.
Refresh my memory. How did he die? Did he get killed?
He got shot.
In a bar or something like that?
He got shot.
Or at home or something like that?
Nah, it was outside somewhere over in Puerto Rico or something. He got shot up.
Yeah, right.
But they was a little, they was doing their thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave it at that. They was doing their thing, and they put up the money for us. And I'm going to take it back even further. Run DMC's first show outside of their tri-state area was at a place behind Jack Yates, in between U of H's stadium and Yates. There's a parking lot. It got a Shipley's in it. It got a Wingstop. It got all kind of stuff right there. Subway on that parking lot used to be JB's Entertainment Center. We had Jekyll and Hyde and Run DMC for $10,000, 2 shows, an early show and a late show, Running them's tab was $7,500. Jekyll and Hyde was $25. And they stayed in the Comfort Inn when it was on Finder. Like,
for 2 shows?
2 shows.
Hold on.
That was different.
All in? Not all in.
We flew them and paid for the hotel.
No, I'm saying.
But
I'm saying $10,000 for each show?
No, for 2 shows.
2 shows, $10,000.
$10,000. It was Jekyll and Hyde, and they opened up for Run DMC at JB's, and here go the beauty of it. Because I'm getting ready. I'm working on a project or 2 to talk about H-Town and hip-hop. But I still got the paperwork. All that.
I bet you do,
We still got the paperwork, the picture.
You do.
Yeah, all of that. When Eric B and Rakim came, their crew, it was us, your former label mates, the Def 4, and Eric B and Rakim, and the 2 Live crew. 2 Live crew skipped out on the show and went and promoted their record. They were in town. They just didn't come. So that's how that lawsuit emerged. And my older brother and Pete got paid. Like, yeah, I'm saying it. They got paid. We was young. We got a couple dollars off of it. But, Eric B and Rakim, he had an interesting 5-man crew with him. It was Rakim. It was Eric B. It was Ant Live. Rest in peace. That's Eric's brother, who was a road manager. It was a guy named Johnny Turbo that was with him. I don't know why he was there, but every time I mentioned that to Rakim, he'd be like, yo. And then there was one other guy. His name was Cool G Rap. And all he had out was this a demo. And Rakim introduced him. He was like, yo, this my man G. He could rap. And when he said G, we was like, oh, all right.
Shout out to Cool G Rap.
Shout out to
That's
G
my
Rap.
dog.
Shout out to G Rap. But they was thinking, since we in Houston, Oh, they don't know about G-Rap. And then we said, yo, he got a couple joints out. I'm Fly. It's a demo. We was like, oh, that's cool, G-Rap. Oh, like we knew who he was because Houston boomed in the early 80s. Everybody, the East Coast shut down, the Midwest shut down. So there's an influx of people from all over the country. And I like to say that I was a part of that foundation of hip-hop in Houston. You know, the first rap club in Houston was called the Baby Grand. Ray Barnett. It was in Spring Branch. And that's
we can't give Spring Branch that kind of credit.
No, I hate to say it, but
we can't give him that
Willie
kind of
D
credit.
is
Spring
the truth.
Branch ain't representing like that.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Money G. Hold on, I can tell you the cats that was in that. Yeah, Spring Branch. You remember Chris Gant and the Masters of the Mix? Well,
I can't say I do.
Chris, that was
It is amazing how you remember all this and names.
Yeah, Chris Gant was on KYOK, I believe. They had a crew called the Masters of the Mix. The Masters of the Mix, 3 of them was in high school at Spring Branch. Roland Jackson, Otis Jackson, who on a funeral home now. I can't think of Roland's last name, and Money G, Marcus Girodi, who him and you, I know you know who Born Twice is. Yeah. They was the
Shout
ones.
Shout out to B2.
Shout out to B2 Omega. You know, they was the ones flying back, getting all them big name plates, because Money was from Queens. That's what his name. They was getting, and they was hustling jewelry, all that. You know, this could go on forever. I give you the history of Houston because I was a part of that foundation. We poured the concrete. There just was no industry here, man. Houston got so much talent, bro.
Well, we were consumers early on. We were huge consumers. Like, this was, everybody came through here, and if they were hot,
they won.
They won big time.
Houston's not a place where, okay, I'm going to say this. Poor people in Houston ain't poor like other places. You got a job, you got a Honda Accord. They not po. They not as River Oaks, but Houston's a place where you could have some things, man. Mm-hmm. You know, having things. You could do that down here, man. You could do that here. And man, I was happy that we moved from Pittsburgh to Houston because I may be dead, locked up, because shit, 2 years in, my mother was like, I'm going back to Pittsburgh. I'm like, I'm not. All my dudes is locked up in jail selling dope. I wasn't built for that.
Right.
Nah, so I stayed. I had an apartment. I accidentally quit high school. You know, all kind of stuff, man.
How do you accidentally quit high school?
So I had an apartment.
I never heard that expression. I never heard anybody put those words together in sequence.
My older brother, he was here. My mother wanted to go back because I have a little brother. Like I said, my stepdad, she wanted to go back and be with her son because they agreed that he could stay up there. They back and forth with it. I'm like, December 25th when it's 70 degrees. I'm like, y'all can have that old cold. You know, it's in my heart, but I would never live there again because just the conditions. Mm-hmm. She goes back home. Me and my boy Ert. He had an apartment. He worked for a guy who owned apartments, and this is way out off like Willcrest, past Belford. You know what I mean? Back in them days, that was some lovely stuff. Dude on the apartment, we had a rent-free apartment, you know, and he was, you know, this same guy owned a furniture company that he rented, and so my boy Tom would go around collecting the rental money. Never paid that dude all the cash. So we was balling out of control. But I had an apartment there, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go to school. Boom. I had a friend whose parents got into an accident. And, you know, down here, you can get an emergency license and all that. And he had to go take his GED. You know, I was taking him to get it. We were in the Heights. And the lady was like, well, are you here to take the test too? I was like, so it's only $15. I'm like, fuck it. You know, I go to take this test, right? I go back home. I ain't think nothing of it, man. First day of school comes around, and maybe 4 or 5 days before that, you received a high school equivalency. I passed that motherfucker with flying colors. I'm going to be honest. Had I known it was that easy, I'd have took that shit in about the 9th grade. I keep it real. So, you know, after about a week and a half, they get at my older brother. Older brother comes to the house like, man, what the fuck you doing? School. And my brother, again, he's a college guy, man. You know, man, after that, I was like, look here, big bro. Pop, pop. I ain't got to go back. I did this. He said, oh, you're going to school. And he got me in college. So that's that accident. I was just taking the motherfucker to take it.
That is accidentally.
I accidentally quit high school.
Quitting high school.
And God has a plan because now they calling me professor. And I ain't finished college either, so you know.
What do you think about that? Is there an urge for you to go back since you are on the college campuses daily?
I produce college graduates. My little son just graduated.
Because you're already doing what you want to do.
I do what listen, man. Success to me, I base it on happiness and setting goals. If I set a goal to do this and I accomplish that goal, I'm successful. My success don't like Willie D thinks I should be. I'm cool. My life is great. Children are healthy. None of them hate their dad. Like, dad was active, raising them. You know, I got a daughter about to graduate college at 20 years old, and she was a valedictorian in high school, finished 2 years of college in high school, and had a job because she wanted her own money, you know? Listen, man, my youngest son just graduated from NYU. You know what I mean? It's the product you put out, man. I could have been a non-active dad and been on some BS. I'm active, man. You know.
Yeah, maybe that's why we get along, man. Because I got a reverence for good dads. You know, I know men who are like all the men that I know who are good dads are good people.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm serious. Like, and I think that comes from like putting others before yourself. It's easy. As far as a man, it's easy for a man to just get up and move around by himself, a lot easier than it is for a woman. So when you find a man who his children his children likes, honors, respects, that's generally a good man.
And I'm still active, man. You know, me and my kids talk all the time, man. It ain't dad though no more. It's counselor advice. Because I ain't never been a helicopter parent, like hovering over, you got to do this. I make suggestions, but you have to live your life. I live mine. You got to live your life, bro. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm confident enough that they've got information from me that they can navigate this thing on their own decisions as well. I ain't tripping. Do you?
Who caused you the most hell that you booked? What artists out there that you booked and you was like, this is a damn nightmare. I cannot wait to wake up from this.
Recently? Because, you know,
at
we
any
do.
Point.
I'm going to go ahead and shout it out. We do Legends Only. And, you know, you at every one of those.
Shouts out to you talking
50,
about that
15. Yeah. Shouts out to Steve Rogers, man.
What's up?
And, you know, oh, my God.
Come on, Steve. Come on, sit down with me, Steve. Steve got some information, too.
I'm going to say this, man. Steve likes to call me and go, see, man, the energy changed when you give him the deposit. Yeah, we're going to do the shout-outs. We're going to do the IG. We're going to do this. Man, Shad, come on, man. I'm going to tell you, and that's our only real problems. When they get here, it's all good. You know, I'm going to tell you who I love. I love Slick Rick. Okay, now Slick Rick. And this is just some Houston stuff again. You remember Rick Royal? We just talked about Royal Fresh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
You know, him and Boss were married and all that.
Yeah.
Boss's manager, Larry, died in a car accident on the way down. You know, I don't know if you remember Cutie. Cutie was in management and all that. That's Slick Rick's aunt. Slick Rick is people in Houston, man. You know what I mean? But Rick, yeah, all right, I'm going to get it. We even had a couple little issues with Kid and Black. It's just the small things because the management sometimes is lazy. Oh, he got to do this. Rick's wife is his manager, and everybody.
Shout out to Mandy.
Shout out to Mandy. Everybody needs a manager like Mandy. I'm not mad at them, but we had a couple times like, come on, man, send the shout out. You know, Rick got to get fresh because Rick is the original fly nigga in hip hop. He's the fly. I don't care what nobody. Y'all talk that jewelry all y'all want. Slick Rick was wearing jewelry when y'all were, you know, when your brothers and sisters was getting flushed in condoms. Like, Rick been on that shit from day one. I remember Rick used to call people peasants, crumbs. These peasants. I got a Rick story. When I was living in L.A., man, there was a place called Hollywood Live, which is now the studios for the Jimmy Kimmel Show. That used to be a club. All right, Rick, now. Rick was like, yeah, you know, we could go ahead and see what this is about. Rick walked, you got to go up these steps. He walked up the steps, walked in the club, walked down the steps, walked to the middle of the dance floor, which was packed, opened his coat up, had mad jewelry on, did a little 360 and left. I said, Rick used to be all white. I love Slick Rick. I don't really have problems with people though, man, but it's just like,
Man,
like
you know what? I like that, man.
I don't have no problems, man.
Tell us some more of these stories, man, with different artists and stuff.
Pick one.
That was a good one.
Pick one. I got some.
Let me go back as far as I can remember to the Sugar Hill Gang. Did you ever do business
I told you,
with them?
I never did business with them.
Okay.
But the very first concert I ever went to, rap concert, first concert I went to was Jackson 5 opening for James Brown and JB's, and I was 5, 6 years old.
What was JB's again?
James Brown, his band.
No, I said where was oh no, I was thinking. You was talking about
JB's
venue.
Entertainment Center.
Yeah, right.
That was behind Yates, right there where that Shipley's is on Scott. It was a Shipley's, there's a Wendy's over, all of that used to be JB's Entertainment Center. Okay. But James Brown and the JB's, Michael Jackson, that was the first concert I ever seen. Back in the day, you used to get public transportation from the neighborhood. There was designated buses to drive you to the concert. You get out, and a lot of kids in the neighborhood, everybody went to that show, and they fell in love with Janet Jackson pre-Good Times. She walked out and did her little Mae West imitation back in the day. I remember all that. No, I didn't meet him.
Bernadette Stannis?
No, I met Bernadette Stannis.
Back then, I'm talking about.
No, back then.
During that
I said Janet when she was a little girl.
Oh, you said
But I met Bernadette Stannis at Jim Brown's house. That's a fact. She had a little record too.
When was this?
This is in Cali. Had to be about 1990. Something like that.
Did you think you had a shot? Did you try to shoot your shot at her?
I spoke. Hey, let me tell you something. Thelma been fine in every decade, but
she is such a wonderful spirit.
She's beautiful.
She's a great
beautiful
woman. Great woman.
But back to the Sugar Hill, like I said, that first concert tour, being a DJ, and at one point DJs, if you ain't no cold DJ, but Grandmaster Flash was the first inspiration because I met them after that first concert tour. Rest in peace to my boy Von Debo. We was all together, man, and yeah, that was that. That was the first. So I actually, damn, and Master G, you got to think we was in middle school. This dude was in he's 17. It was like, hey, you one of us, and you a star.
Give me a Melly Mel story.
Yo, Willie D.
No, man.
No.
Give me your personal Melly Mel story.
Being in L.A., man, Africa Islam was out there. And Melly Mel, if you understand the 70s, I think Melly Mel is a product. Them boys Mel's a big boy, man. Mm-hmm. And, we just be around all the time, man. Mel, Grandmaster Caz, all them used to be at Islam's house. Shout out to Ice-T. Because when I got to Cali, I would say Ice-T is the one that, and Evil E. I call Evil first. Evil E, Hen G. And it's crazy? So we can go to them stories. Ice-T had a Syndicate album out. First compilation, the Crew album. People do the label albums like a masterpiece. Ice-T was the first one to do that. And Ice-T probably was the first fly guy in rap. I see a lot of videos of these guys. Every car you see in an Ice-T video, that was his stuff. You know what I mean? He was talking. Listen to 6 in the Morning with the Louis interior. Continue clocking freaks with a mince posterior. Rolling with the Louis interior. We didn't know what Louis was back then. Ice-T was talking with Louis Vuitton back then. But Evil E, Hen G, Ice-T, and all them guys. Here's a funny story. On that Syndicate album cover is like a little ninja in front of a BMW. That was a guy named Bronx Style Bob. He was down there with Rhyme Syndicate and all that. And Bob used to come around Evil and Henry's house, right? And what's my man's name? It just escaped me. He used to come with this little white kid went to Beverly Hills High, a little Jewish cat. You know what I mean? Who was in the hip hop. Anyway, that dude ended up, what is his name? I hate to say it. It's killing me. I'll come back to it. But he started Maverick Records and all that, Guy Osiri. If you look up Guy Osiri is a product of Rhyme Syndicate. I'm gonna leave it at that. And look at what Guy Osiris doing right now. I think him and Adam Kutcher just started like a $240 million venture. They doing all kind of stuff. But this little funny little Jewish little white kid used to come around Evil and Hen's house and get all the knowledge and the information. And Melly Mel, that whole Zulu Nation was out there too. Not the Bambaataa half of it, but Africa Islam, who produced a lot of Ice-T music. They had a big crib. And, Mel and them was always out there, man. New York was always in Cali. And the influences were like younger people like to discount the influences, man. But like when y'all say that this was the first one, I would like you to start saying when I got introduced to hip hop, this is the first person, because everybody got it from somewhere else except for the OGs. Them dudes built that off nothing.
Now, was King T around at this time?
King T, back to Houston when we was in high school. It was this kid from California that came out here because he was acting up in Cali. And he was running with Lester and Jazzy Red. I meant to say Jazzy Red, too, who is Jimmy Kimmel's favorite rapper. Jimmy Kimmel said, my favorite rapper is Jazzy Red. And he played I Am a Dope Fiend on his show.
Is that right?
Yes.
Jimmy Kimmel did that?
Jimmy Kimmel did that.
After Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel said, whoever Jazzy Red is, and we've been trying to get Jazzy on that show forever.
What?
But yes. But King T was a kid out here running with Lester and them. There was a beast on turntables. His name was Terry T. Terry T is King T. When we went, so my girl from college in Tennessee came to see me. She lived in L.A. She drove out here, see your boy. But I mean, chicks that drive thousands of miles to see me. That's just who I am and who I've always been. Yeah, but I thought it would be like, my brother had.
How far did she drive?
From Los Angeles to 3rd Ward, Texas. I was at
She
TSU.
drove from Los Angeles. She was trying to get away from somebody, bro.
No.
She came all the way down here
just to see me. Yeah, we met in Tennessee, and
she drove. What is that? What is that? 1,500 miles? What is?
It's a lot of miles. Because let me tell you what happened. Though she drove back out here. She came to see me toward the end of that semester. Now, my brother had a friend named Kirby Hatchett. Shout out to Curb. Kirby worked for Merrill Lynch, and my major was economics. My minor was finance. I was going to get an internship. My big brother was notorious for trying to hook me up with stuff. He would be like, yo, da-da-da. So I was going to do this little intern with Kirby in 2 weeks. I could not let that girl drive back to California by herself. I drove to Cali with her. I'm in the nightclub, and this is why I quit school. I'm in a nightclub, and I see Terry T. And I'm like, what you doing out here? He's like, man, I'm working on my second album. I'm like, fuck out of it. What was your first album? And it sure enough was him. He was like, no, come to the studio tomorrow. And then gave me his number. I go to the studio, Cube, Ice-T. I see Paul Mooney walking down the street. Like, I was like, this nigga on for real. Yeah, this my homie from Houston, man. We used to do. You know what happened? I never left Cali. I didn't come back to go to Maryland. Now I'm in Cali now. I'm in L.A. Yeah. But King T, Alcoholics, Exhibit, Loot Pack, I could just name on. And, when people be talking about them great rappers, King T was the first rapper to get played in New York City in rotation. That song, Payback. Biggie, if you listen to his cadences and Biggie's on record, yeah, King T, man. His whole, the first album, the cadence, and that was King T. Go listen to Payback and Act the Fool.
Wait a minute, man. You're trying to say, I'm
definitely saying, no. It's fact. It's known.
You're saying it's a fact that you saying Biggie Jack
King T
style?
Biggie said it. King T was one of his favorite rappers. And if you listen to the cadences and all that on Ready to Die and go back and listen to some old King T stuff, you'll hear it plain and clear.
What about that dude, I think from the South, they were saying that Biggie sounded like some little dude.
The notorious B1.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he was from Mississippi.
But
if you listen to that, I mean, and it ain't beyond Puffy to do some shit like that.
Those sounds are very, very. I ain't stupid.
It ain't beyond.
Sounds are very similar.
I'm gonna say it again. It ain't beyond. To me, it ain't beyond Diddy. If you look at his record and track record, I mean, shit.
But do you think Biggie just jacked that one? Like record or
I wouldn't take we not about to take nothing from Big on that note. I think
if he didn't jack that style,
it's a hell of a coincidence.
Somebody did that style first.
It's a hell of a coincidence.
Somebody did it first.
I'm just saying I don't know for sure, but it's not beyond belief that You know, shit. 'Cause, I mean, you got to think, man. Puff is a creative cat.
Well, what style is closer, the guy from the South or King? Well, King T's from.
No,
Yeah.
when I say King T, I mean Biggie's cadences, the way he. To Nitro, you're going to do windpipe slow, all of that. Yo, go listen to that old King T. Yeah.
Huh.
People say that I'm ugly and I got big lips, but when I walk by you, black and ugly as ever. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff. Like, if you know, you know. You know.
Shit, that ain't cadence. That's content. That's lyrics.
I ain't gonna, again, I'm not gonna say nothing for sure, but I know for sure that King T is one of my favorite guys. And it's not beyond possible. And you listen to King T's stuff and then listen to Big's Ready to Die. And yeah, it's there. The influence is there, and there's no knock on that. We all were influenced by something. I'm just saying
That's
King
true.
King T don't get his flowers.
We all have been influenced by somebody.
Biggie was, one of the best to do. I think the Life After Death album, I think that's a perfect album. I think there's a lot of perfect albums, but I think that's one of them. That boy, you talking about, sophomore jinx? He didn't have that. A lot of people had a sophomore jinx. Big had the sophomore graduation, and then the unfortunate stuff happened, which is we miss him. But I'm just laying the facts out with people. When I hear young, he was the first one to do this. Nah, let me show you. Oh, you old niggas just hating. No, we ain't hating. I'm informing you. It's my duty. It's incumbent upon me to pass down knowledge because I'm sick of other motherfuckers telling our stories.
So in order to be healed from other motherfuckers telling our stories, we have to tell them ourselves.
Yeah.
But we have to be intentional about that. We can't just sit back and just wait for somebody to put a mic in our face. We got to say, okay, I'm finna go write the book. I'm going to do the movie. I'm finna go produce the movie. Like,
that's what I'm about to do.
I'm finna start the magazine. I'm gonna start the blog.
Yeah, I'm into that one. And I'm about, and let me talk my shit right now. And being one of these cornerstones to the whole hip hop culture in Houston, I don't fuck with nobody say, this goes before, I'm gonna say this too, this goes before some of y'all was born. But I'm gonna go on record and say this, when you talking about gangster rap and shit like that, wasn't the Ghetto Boys a group before it? There was a group out west called NWA.
Yeah, Ghetto Boys was here first. I mean, but it was a different lineup.
But we go to it was a different lineup.
Yeah,
jukebox.
We put the music out first.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this too. There was Schoolie D, Philly. Then there's Ice-T. Then there's NWA. But people skip the Ghetto Boys. People skip King T. People skip a lot of people. And the machines might not necessarily been behind them, but that was the beauty of hip hop. You knew who it was, what it was, everywhere you went, and it wasn't no computers. So to be hip hop, you knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? And how it traveled, postal, promo tours, and stuff. You knew what it was. Now everybody, I'm hip. Nah, you ain't hip hop. You just make rap music sometimes. You ain't hip hop. The culture says otherwise. You could be in the business of music, but everybody don't get that hip-hop card. Each one teach one. Knowledge itself, showing the consequences to certain actions. Hip-hop is love music to me. When I heard Fuck the Police the first time, that was a love song because, they said, fuck, look what the police is doing. And when Rodney King went, I think that was the first viral, if we have a moment. When that happened with Rodney King, then you understood what we were talking about as people. Y'all calling that hate music. We saying fight back music. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck. If you my enemy, you my enemy. And if you're oppressing my people, if you're degrading my women, if you're doing a whole bunch of negative stuff to my people, I don't give a fuck what uniform you wear. And I still strong on fuck the police. Not all the police. Because we need law and order. But them corrupt motherfuckers is out here to this day.
Shoe fit wear it.
Huh?
Shoe fit wear it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Corrupt motherfuckers, fuck them police. But when they saw Rodney King, that wasn't no one-off. I had moved to LA at that point. Man, that shit was happening all the goddamn time, man. There wasn't no cell phone cameras and all that. Now that we seeing it all, people, that's a shame that fuck y'all. It's a shame that we was redlined. It's a shame that we were slaves, but it's a shame that y'all act like sometimes that y'all ain't eating off the labor of our great grandparents and great grand. So that's the shame. And I ain't mad at America. I look at America like you're crack.
I am,
No,
goddamn it.
listen to what I'm saying.
Go off.
I'm mad.
I'm mad.
I'm mad at them.
Shit.
But it's still my home. We built this bitch. Now, I'm going to say it like this. I look at America like if a person had a crackhead uncle, that was their favorite uncle. You know, you love that uncle, but you don't like what he's doing to himself. And as a country, I hate what the United States is doing to itself. You know, this country could be great if everything was fair across the board.
I hate what this country is doing to
us too. No, but I mean,
and itself.
But I'm not going to say that we're not a part of it. This our shit.
But the thing is that, like, if America treated black people better, America could be better because we are part of America.
We are America.
And what they don't understand, a lot of people out there, a lot of the hateful people, in their mind, if they see black people winning, they think they're losing.
Which is insane. You motherfuckers losing.
I never had that mentality.
Look, you motherfuckers losing because y'all stupid as shit, and you don't take advantage of the opportunities afforded to you. If you got non-melanated skin in this motherfucking country and you losing, shame on you.
That's on you.
That's on you. You got everything set up for you to win.
Yeah, man.
You kiss my ass on that. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway.
So you want your reparations?
Reparations got to come with way more than money. It got to come with changed school systems. It got to come with a whole lot of reparations verbally, truthfully. Acknowledge what the fuck y'all did. Let's start with that. Because and motherfucker get a check and go give it right back to him. So it got to be more than money, man. It got to be, and I'm in the money business too, Will. It got to be more than money. We have to change school system. We have to integrate things. And when I say integrate, like, your kids got to mix with these kids, got to mix with these kids. Like, ain't no yours are better. Like, we gotta do that.
Why does the kids have to mix? I don't think we have to mix with any other.
I'm talking about the things that are available to the kids. It got to be available to all of them.
Okay.
Evenly, on an even plane. Now, you know.
Yeah, because the Asian community, they don't mix with anybody. And they're doing just fine.
You know what I love about the Asians? You don't hear them out here complaining. And we need to take a book from them. Every Asian store I've ever been in, y'all don't see black people working for them.
Well, there's a dichotomy at work here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so on one end, for Asian people, they are getting their money, right? They're getting their money, so they have they're an economic powerhouse because they're getting their money and they pool their resources, right? They understand group economics. Okay, that's one, right? Mm-hmm. That's a big one. That's a
huge one.
But here's a bigger one. They're not targeted by this government for failure and destruction. We are.
You know what else about?
And listen, let me tell you something. This is for all you dummies out there who every time you see somebody black doing something crazy or whatever, you see black people at the bottom of this list or whatever, the worst this and that or whatever. What you dummies have to understand is that we're the only group in this country that are being targeted by our own government for failure. We're systematically targeted, right? Mm-hmm. No group of people in the history of civilization has ever been able to reach its full potential when they've been targeted by their own government for failure. The government makes the laws, the government enforces the laws or decides not to enforce the law.
Exactly.
Right? And so this is why, even though we're up against our own government, we still find a way. Many of us have found a way through the years. Millions of us have found a way to not just survive, but to thrive. All of these centuries later, we're still getting it, and we're still not just getting it, but we get into a certain industry, and we get to the top of that industry.
Dominate that
and this is why I say we some goddamn superheroes, bro.
Yes.
When we make it, when you see a successful black person, that's a superhero. Because the game is not made for them, for black people to make it in this country. It's not set up for us to succeed. Yeah, there's a lot of resources out there, but guess what? You still got to, those resources still have to be made available to you. Mm-hmm. And then even when you're using those resources, let's say I got resources, and let's say the resources are right up the street from my house. Mm-hmm. I can walk down the street and get to the resources, right? Mm-hmm. I got the resources at my fingertip. But when I leave, and in the interim,
from you getting
from
point
me
A to
getting
point
out
B.
point A to point B, the police pull me up. What you doing? What you doing? Come out. Get on the car. Oh, what's this? The fuck you mean? What's this?
Right.
This right here, man. That ain't mine. And it really ain't yours.
It ain't yours.
But they don't understand that. A lot of them, they don't understand when because I see them all the time posting online talking about 15% of the population is responsible for 90% of the crime. First of all, that's a bold-faced lie.
Bullshit.
That's a bold-faced lie. But additionally, many of the black people that are involved in that are in the criminal justice system, on the negative side of it, they've been set up.
Yeah.
They've been framed. They've been lied on.
Yeah, man.
And that's the part they don't want to accept. They see all.
And then I ain't got
the trip
money for
part about
legal
it is
representation.
the trip part about it is this: they see all the corruption by the police on a daily basis, but they never factor that into their comments when they start talking about black people and crime.
That's a fact.
Ain't that amazing?
That's a fact. And, it's insane. Like, yeah, so when you say, do I want reparations? Oh, yeah, I'm going to take the bag, but a lot more got to come with it. The opportunity to get it, honestly, without those interruptions on your way to get it, without the police, all of that stuff got to get thrown in that package, too.
Man, if them hoes get out the way, they know what's going to happen.
But you know what? Hold on, let me say one thing.
If they stop, they would have stopped running interference. Since they're not going to do it on their own, right? Because
you know what I
bullies
think?
don't voluntarily stop bullying.
Hold on, watch this,
Right.
though. You know what I think? I think the powers that be know how heinous they've been to us and think that if we get it, we're going to turn around and do it to them. They don't understand. We God-fearing people. We ain't worried about you motherfuckers.
Look,
You know what I'm saying?
look.
They worried about that part.
If that were true, we would have already
done it.
You know what I'm saying? Because really, people are a lot more volatile and aggressive when they don't have it.
Exactly.
And so when they don't have anything to lose. So if we really were those type of people,
We'd have done it already.
We've already done it.
But that's what they scared of.
Yeah.
Man. That's what they scared
But
of.
then I also think we underestimate them. I think a lot of them, they're really not worried about it, but it's just that hateful fucking spirit that's rooted inside of them.
I think it's the ones at the top too that control the narratives that we see on TV and then.
Well, everything trickles down, but but the ones at the top use the ones at the bottom to do
all
their
dirty work. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
This is why the Klan is still around today. America needs the Klan to do their bidding. They sitting around holding. See, like no other group that is as dangerous as the Klan would be alive. Would be allowed to continue to move,
march in public and do all kind of wild stuff,
and to have an LLC in America. No other group besides the law enforcement,
right,
could get away with something like that. But they need the Klan because the Klan are their personal hitchmen. If they need something done, call the KKK chapter Louisiana, chapter 59, and get Robbie on the phone.
Look here, Duke.
Yeah, that type of thing. That's what goes on. Man, you got any stories about LL?
A few of them.
Yeah.
I got a few of them.
Give me a good story to share with the folks.
A good LL story was, it was June 15th. I can't remember the year. It had to be like 86, 87. And they was on tour. And we was like, we're going to go to Beaumont and see the show. Right? Boom. We shoot down to Beaumont. Here's Leor Cohen, LL, everybody. We go down there. L was busy. And I ain't going to do that. L, you would never see L without the Kango. I'm going to just say that. When
you saw L without the Kango.
Yeah, I seen L without the Kango, man. The hairline
lost
was... Yeah, but L's... Hey, man, we all young. We was clowning. We did a lot of clowning. The funniest story, it ain't LL. If you want to hear a great story, I'm trying to limit them, too, because, I got some things in the bag. But I'm going to say this. It was Big Daddy Kane, right? Shout out to
Big Daddy Kane.
Shout out to Kane, 40 Ounce Rich, Botch, all them guys back in the day. So it was after a show. I came out from Cali. I'm visiting my brother and all that. Kane and them was in town. We go, boom, all right, let's, And again, Ant Live, who I knew from earlier dealings with Eric B and them, Texas was wide open. You could buy a gun with an ID, right? So, show was in Beaumont. Mr. C, his father had passed. Rest in peace. And I'm telling you, Mr. C will say, yeah, I was in Texas when that happened. Him and Kane was out of there. Now, they got this crew. Notorious. Like, when you on the road, man, back in the day, crews used to be notorious. I got a partner out here from Pittsburgh. He came with my older brother, so he's like a big brother, too. One of them was like, yo, we can get guns in Texas, huh? Yeah, all you need is an ID. Man, after that show, we went from Beaumont to Houston. And my boy was just every gun shop. He buying guns for these cats. Here's where it messed up. Because, New York, you cannot, if you got a gun in New York, buy, it's over with. So we got guns, and it's a tour bus. My boy had a convertible Z28, white, red, black top, red interior. So they going to all these places. So we get back to Beaumont, and it's like, voila, They was like, oh, shit. Yeah, and then, let's go get some more. It was good. But, you traveling back in the day, you always had the street cats with you. And again, I will say this, Big Daddy Kane and Mr. C were nowhere on this. They had flown back to New York. This was all crew stuff. And again, we ain't going to get into all that. But, we go to some pawn shop in Beaumont, little-ass Beaumont. And them boys is in there like this. Oh, shit. How many did this clip hold? And the lady, and they had on the chains, so big jewels. She tapped that button, man. We leave. So
they pull y'all up on the road.
There's a movie theater off of I-10, like in Beaumont. When you first come into Beaumont, we in that parking lot. They exchanging money with my homie. He in the car. I'm in the back of the tour bus tripping, chopping it up, and da-da-da-da. But we had been sitting there for about 10, 12 minutes. It's like, why are we still sitting here? The tour bus has looked out the curtains. Man, there was so many police running around the bus, seizing the bus, like, stopped it. And they had my boy, he out there like this, but they seen all his receipts. So they question is like, where these guns at? When we seen the police, we shut the... Guns is everywhere. I ain't never seen so many stash spots. I'm like, damn, where these stash spots come from?
Hide all those guns.
So, right, they had them. They hid a lot of them. It was probably about 14, 15, a little tech, all that. Police get on the bus. We ain't gonna find nothing in here. Wasn't no drugs, no weed, no none of that. That bus, man, then they found a few guns. They had the dogs on there. So they found about 7 or 8 guns out of 15. They got all my boys' receipts. They's like, why you buying all these guns? He was like, I'm a collector. Well, what are they doing on the bus? Hey, we on the road, man. I'm just showing them Texas, man. And, they mine. They took all the guns. And dude was like, yeah, 30 days, we're going to run you. You can come get them if they, so... They go back to New York, whatever they had.
To say they never went back and got those guns.
Shit. Now, I'm in Cali again. I heard Cube was shooting. It was a Good Day video. Ant Live was right there. Yo, what's up with them guns? What's up with your man? It's 30 days. My boy Steve, I can say my boy Steve. Man, Steve was like, man, I got that receipt. I took all that shit back. Tell Ant he ain't getting it was crazy, man. But every time he seen me, what's up with your man and them guns? I never had the heart to tell him. My man took them shits back and got all that money back. He had about $7,000 worth of, he's like, man, I ain't sending, man, F that. What I look like? But they got away with 7 or 8 of them. But, yeah, man, it was just some good hip-hop ass times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I say, in Houston, I'm going to shout out some of these godfathers, man, that whole Lester Pace era, the Luscious Ices, the Steve Fourniers, even Captain Jack. Shout out Jack, the L.A. rapper. You remember him?
Nah,
McGregor Park.
Can't say I do.
You remember McGregor Park?
But you can't mention Steve without mentioning R.P. Cola.
R.P. Cola, who had the Fire Slammer Jammer rap. This is early raps.
Yeah.
He had the whole fire. So R.P., where is Mr. Pettis these days? If anybody see R.P. Cola, man, please reach out to us. We looking for R.P.
Yeah.
You know. This Houston, man, this thing was huge down here, man. I ain't saying they wouldn't have blew up, but Houston has a lot to do with the E40s blowing up nationwide, the Master P, because we took to that stuff. We was taking to the East Coast. We was taking all the West. We was right in the middle, so there's a lot of people.
Because as long as the beat knock and the lyrics hot, son, I could give a rat's ass where rap is from. And that's H-Town.
And I'm going to tell you this. Let's talk about the godfather of hip-hop in L.A. on the radio, Greg Mack. Where was he at before he went to L.A.? It was at Magic 102, H-Town, before he ever went to K-Day. It's right here, man. I remember Love 94 was on when I got here, though, but that's a whole nother story.
There's some more stories, man, that we're going to tell in the future, man. I know you got to make a move, but
no doubt, man.
I really do appreciate you coming by, man. Thank you for imparting your wisdom and sharing some of those monumental stories, man. We love you. We respect you, man, and can't wait to see what's going on with you in the future. I know the book is coming, right?
Yes, and possibly a documentary. That's why I got to be limited on certain. But with this Houston stuff, man, I definitely, shout out to Daryl Scott, the original Screw Tape.
Yep.
Yep.
Shout out to Daryl Scott.
D. Scott. There's so many people we can go through, and I'm sorry if I missed you. But
you missed him, and you're gonna hear about it because it's so many people.
Yeah, but we was with Willie D, and we was talking about things that are building the community up, as well as hip hop. We ain't get to do all that.
Right.
I look forward to doing this again around the time when my things drop, and you're gonna be the first one with it.
Absolutely, man. I'd love to bring you back on the show and give us an update.
Yeah, man. Willie D.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rashad Amin. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate you.
No more talk.